Now I want to show the correlation quickly with what's it called? With Ethereum and the Coinbase stock. Okay, so here's an interesting correlation. So let's put ETH on top. Okay, and then on the bottom, get rid of that Bomba Clot chart, and then we're gonna put Coinbase.
Correlation with what's his nuts.
Look at this chart. So ETH and Coinbase.
Each chart is like I have nightmares and I just see that chart in
Yeah,
my vision.
super schizo.
It's so ugly.
So the Coinbase chart emulates the Ethereum chart as well, right? So here's the question we got to ask ourselves. Are we bullish or are we bearish Coinbase stock? Okay. So both of these are on the daily time frame. And you see here how we'll go ahead and point out the correlation again. Okay. Coinbase starts pumping, ETH starts pumping. Coinbase jeets right here. You get this big gap down. What happens to ETH? You fucking jeet. Same thing to the upside. Pumping. We start pumping right here. ETH starts pumping. Okay. You top out over here. Coinbase kind of tops out over here. ETH had this blow off top. So you get this. You get this. Okay. So now you see the correlation. Right? Whenever Coinbase pumps, ETH pumps. Well, this Coinbase chart again gives us reason to believe that we could be breaking down further on Ethereum. So we need to watch if this Coinbase chart holds. Okay, let me actually get rid of some of these drawings.
Which of these do you think is the beta though?
ETH is the beta to Coinbase.
You think so?
Yeah, because it's an equity stock, and then
Because I just feel like if you compare Coinbase to Ethereum, then you can kind of compare Bitcoin to what's it called? What's his name?
S&P. What's
No,
this
what
nuts?
Michael Saylor's what that? Oh, MicroStrategy. So it's like, the performance of Bitcoin directly determines the performance of MicroStrategy. Where I feel like with, Coinbase, it's like people who are trading in equities, if they want to get exposure to crypto, then they're going to be one of the main, stocks they'd be investing into would be Coinbase. But I don't know if they would be investing based off of the performance in the crypto markets, what Ethereum and Bitcoin are doing, or, vice versa, depending on the performance of Coinbase stock,
Right.
can kind of give us a good idea as to what Ethereum is going to do performance wise.
Right. And I remember whenever we were looking at the correlation between MSTR and Bitcoin, it was MSTR was front running Bitcoin, correct? Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think that's what I had mentioned because I know in BB a few of the boys had mentioned that MicroStrategy up until a certain point had always been front running Bitcoin by a little bit.
Right.
Um, which if that would hold true for Coinbase to Ethereum, then yeah, Coinbase would be a good indication of what's to come for Ethereum.
Right.
But I feel like from looking at this,
Yeah, it looks like MSTR was front running the Bitcoin move. So,
yeah,
like here, we started nuking. Well, let's look at it like over here. So, here we started nuking. Bitcoin was topping out. As we started nuke on this, then we came down here. This started moving higher, and then you get this move on Bitcoin after. Yeah, look.
and then Bitcoin ended up topping out.
Yeah. So the equities are gonna front, and it makes sense why equities would front run crypto to a degree, because what's gonna happen is when people move further down the risk curve, they're gonna go from equities into crypto. They're gonna go from large caps into small caps like IWM, and then you see that liquidity flow into the crypto markets. So the same way that MSTR to a degree was front running Bitcoin moves, you also have the same thing on Coinbase stock. Okay, so again, just to show the correlation, Coinbase stock has a correlation to Ethereum. It's clear, or Ethereum's correlated to the Coinbase stock. So we got to look now and look for context because we're not getting a lot of signal out of crypto specifically. We got to look at the Coinbase stock for signal. So let's look at this on a lower time frame, or let's zoom in a little bit. This structure on Coinbase, because again, we got to be honest about what we're looking at here. It doesn't look good. It looks heavy, right? So we came down here. That is right here, okay? So we had this gap down on Coinbase stock. We came back up. We filled the gap, right? This little gap right here. We came back. We filled it. We came back up. Okay, now we left this gap potentially, or this gap right here. We came back, refilled this gap, came all the way down. So now it's a full refill. Now we had this low on Coinbase stock. Okay. We took that and then we still broke down further. Okay. So I could see one of two things happening here as well. If this Coinbase stock breaks down further and we come back down into this zone over here, let's say we come back and fill this, we could get a bounce here, right? We could get a bounce here and then come back up, and that would save ETH. But if this keeps coming down any further and we start coming down into this area over here, okay, and we come all the way back down and we bounce off of this demand, then you're going to see ETH come back down and take this wick that we've been talking about before curling back up. Okay. Now, again, this is all confluent with what? The S&P, right? So if the S&P pulls back down to that level we were talking about, Coinbase, because it's a stock, an equity, that's going to come down and also retest this lower demand zone, which if the correlation is with Ethereum, Ethereum is going to come back down and refill that wick. So you guys see now how you can find the correlations between these charts and understand, okay, what are the potential levels we're playing? What are the bid zones? When are we buying? Great, because we understand the correlation. Great, because we understand the market structure. Where's our demand? Great, here's where we're buying. That's how you make money. So, but yeah, any thoughts on this chart?
Yeah, I think, I mean, I might see it a little bit different. Just as far as what's to come for Coinbase, the stock, because, well, I mean, I know their last earnings report was super solid. So I think they beat expectations by like 23%. The revenues had increased like 130% due to the kind of crypto surge with the inauguration and election. So the earnings report was super good, you know, way above expectations for Coinbase. I personally think that this big wick down, because they had a positive reaction on the chart, which was positively influencing the Ethereum and Bitcoin price action as well the past week or two. Personally, I think that this is probably a local snap reaction to the Bybit news. I definitely think that that would have an impact here. And like we've talked about a little bit earlier, I think that that's probably just going to be a local time frame hit on charts. I don't think that's going to be news that's going to significantly change the structure of this stuff over the rest of this cycle. So I think that this week we should definitely see a lot of recovery. I mean, as long as we don't get any more scam news this week that makes people lose certainty, then I think this week we should see a nice recovery on Coinbase. I think we should see a nice recovery definitely on Ethereum and Bitcoin, because as long as the low is in for this week, which I feel like it probably is. I know Monday usually performs the opposite of the rest of the week, and we have the monthly close coming up. So yeah, I think personal opinion, but that's what I'm seeing here, and that's what I'm hoping for is correct.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see the bounce back, and even if we get a bounce back and we say, okay, this is it. It tapped the demand. We're gonna draw this box right here, and you see it bounce back up and start to curl back up. It's possible that we still get that, right? So it's just important to be aware of what's going on in the different markets, so we have an idea of, okay, how are we gonna react when certain things play out. So I could see it bouncing too. I agree. So, and that's why I'm prepared for both scenarios. I'm prepared, and then we're going to let people know as soon as something happens. Great, we're going to let you know inside the Discord, and we're going to make the moves.